Oh my God.
Wait for it.
And we're live. All right, so now we're live. Okay. All right, so cool. Now we're live and we're good to go. Finally, the technology gods have been graced us with their blessings here.
Hopefully.
I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna give some time for people to join us. So just a little chit chat right now, just to kind of check with you guys. How was your day? I know Miss Megan was saying she was having a little a rough day at work today, long
It's
day.
been a long day. It's been a long week, and it's only Wednesday.
Yes.
So, at least last
Yeah.
I checked, it was Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, just making sure.
I have to always check too because I'm always mixing up my days like
That's
crazy.
me.
Yeah. And so I know, Kimmy, I know you were saying you're off work today, right?
Oh yes, my weekend. Thank you, Jesus. I don't go back
Oh,
until
that's a
Saturday.
blessing.
That's sad because that's what my weekend is. I mean, my weekdays on the weekend. I said, oh Lord, my Monday's on a Saturday.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got a whole different schedule there. Mine's
Yeah.
is kind of all over the place. It's any given Sunday for me.
Oh yeah.
That's basically how mine's go. So my week is actually was kind of a rough start with the baby being sick on
Mhm.
Monday and kept her home from school. And then yesterday she was doing better, but we still kept her home just to make sure she was okay. But then let's see. Oh, and yesterday was also our anniversary. So
Aw,
yeah,
Oh,
happy
happy anniversary,
anniversary.
y'all.
stay at home, making sure she was okay. We was like, yeah, we'll just, relax. Besides the kids, my older kids said, hey, they wanted to actually make us a meal. So the
Oh.
two oldest ones, the oldest one made us, what they make us? Lamb, greens, mashed potatoes.
Mm.
And
Ooh.
then my 13-year-old, she bakes, so she made us a cake. And it was really, really
Oh.
cute. It was like a little heart cake and then the round cake under it. And it was like
Cute.
decorated like with these little pearl things on it. So it was really,
And
really
how
cute, like
many
wedding
years?
thing. Um, 14 years married, 22 years together.
Congratulations.
Oh
Congratulations.
wow.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I tell you, marriage is a job. It's a whole job.
That's
No.
right.
Right.
Unique can attest to how much trouble. Yeah, he's trouble
Oh
It's
yeah.
trouble.
trouble.
Type.
Yeah, trouble
Trouble's
is
trouble.
trouble. Yes,
Yeah, and I'm
yeah.
I'm sure, I'm pretty sure he's saying the same thing on the other side. He's probably fussing me out right now. But yeah, and I mean, any relationships are hard though, honestly.
Right.
And I can only see how this works with everyone being, challenged with coming from
Different.
different backgrounds,
Right.
different worlds, and then you're trying to
Mhm.
mesh together, raising kids and whatnot. Even if you don't have kids, just two people trying to get along always. That's a
Mhm.
hard job.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but I am so happy that you guys are here with me today and we're doing this again. So anybody out there who's watching, who was joining us the first time we did this, we had a little technical issues. So we figured we'd do a do-over. And so why not today, right? So I'm so excited that we're doing this. I know we missed PCOS Awareness Month. That was just last month, you guys. We didn't miss it that much, but hey, it is still something that we can talk about and focus on. As this is a women empowerment channel, it also is a firearm safety awareness channel. And so, just introducing us, I am Mrs. Trouble. As you guys can see, probably at the top of my head here, we have Miss Unique Foxdale with us and Miss Megan here with us. And I'm going to help. Just kind of segue this whole thing for my audience because I know we're usually having gun talk for the most part, but I do want to center around women's empowerment and things that focuses specifically on women. So anybody out there watching, you may or may not know what PCOS is, but we're going to educate you here shortly. I'm gonna leave that to the experts sitting on that side of the room. And so, yeah, I don't want to say anything wrong, although I did practice and I got it down pack now. I know how to say it, but I'm gonna still let you guys do that because you're better at it. um, but basically, when it comes to our bodies, women, we want to focus on the inside and the outside, right? So I know a lot of times I'm focusing on the outside, talking about safety awareness and physical protection. And here
Mhm.
we are now talking about the inside of our bodies, making sure that we have awareness about how things are functioning on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest officially. I have Miss Megan first. I'm going to introduce you, and if you can give us a little brief about you. But Miss Megan is joining us from PCOS Awareness, and she can give you a little bit more understanding of her background.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. Let me see if I can get it to do it. Can I get it
Yeah.
to? There they. I was like,
Welcome,
where's my
welcome.
confetti? Yes. Hi, everyone. So I am Megan Stewart. I'm the founder and executive director of PCOS Awareness Association, which is a worldwide organization dedicated to the information, the research, the resources, and the support of those with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Some things I know you said, we're focusing on the inside right now, but I will tell you that PCOS, for those that don't know what PCOS is, PCOS does, it's an endocrine hormonal disorder that affects 1 in 5 women across the world. And it's not just like internal, it's also external. It displays itself externally. So when I say endocrine, we're talking like it affects women from head to toe. So we're talking hair loss on the head, hair growth on the face. It's the number one. It's the number one cause of infertility in women. It causes hormonal adult acne. It causes or it can cause depression and high depression and high anxiety in women. It can cause weight gain. Um, there's just a whole slew. They're constantly, and it's crazy because they're constantly finding new symptoms that are associated with PCOS. We had
That's because it's hormonal. It
right,
affects
right.
everything.
Right. Well, it also tricks your body into thinking that it's diabetic. So one of the
Mm.
biggest, like, there's no cure for PCOS. You can only treat the symptoms individually. So one of the largest medications that they give for women with PCOS is metformin, and that metformin is actually a diabetic medication. And
Wow.
one of the symptoms with diabetes is that you can have tooth decay. So now they've equated tooth decay to a symptom of PCOS as well. So
Oh.
it's always continuing that list is continuing to grow. But yeah, I'm sure Kimmy could say some other symptoms, and I will kind of let her go into the things that have ailed her with PCOS.
Well, before we go into
Oh,
that,
yep.
I do
Sorry.
want to properly introduce
Oh, yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Kimmy a
Sure.
little bit more, only because we are here today because Miss Kimmy,
Yes.
and you guys may see her name is Miss Unique Foxdale here in the
Hello.
metaverse. She's known as Miss Unique Foxdale. But basically, Miss Kimmy has actually dedicated a part of her life and journey on the metaverse to PCOS awareness. And so,
Yeah.
where we are here, definitely shouts out to Trouble and shouts out to what was the other young lady name
Miss
who helped build the
Miss
Butter pecan,
Butterpecan.
yeah.
Miss
Mhm.
Barbican. Yes. Shouts out to them too for helping you build this place. And I mean, it's just awesome. The guy, I mean, you guys can look around, it's beautiful. And there's more. There's actually more. So anybody who has an Oculus can definitely come and check out. And Miss Kimmy will give you guys that information as well. But so here you are. Welcome, welcome, Miss Unique Foxdale or Miss Kimmy, as
Hello.
we know you in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So give us a
Oh,
little bit more background about yourself and why you decided to help the rest of the world, help Miss Megan spread the word.
yes. Hello, everybody. So, hello, everybody. I'm Unique Foxdale, aka Kimmy in the real world, IRL. And I had PCOS since 2011. I could swear I had like before then, but I'm gonna say 2011 as official with the OBGYN. So, anyways, my symptom is high anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. Ooh, I got a whole what the hair on the chin, irregular cycles, and anyways, that's the negative talk. Let's talk about the positives now. So why I bought PCOS in the metaverse is just because it's a lot of women out there that has PCOS, but it's uncomfortable. Sorry, talking about it because it just like the embarrassment of like, oh, I have hair on my chin. Oh, I have irregular cycles. I have cysts in my ovaries and all that stuff. I was like, oh, I'm not comfortable talking about it. I said, "Oh, that's fine. As long as your name is there, but if you don't want your name to be out there, then that don't that's okay too. I understand that and stuff. So why about PCOS the horizon is the spread awareness to everybody that wants to know about the awareness or whatever. And oh, wow. I lost my change of thought. I have brain fog too. That's a PCOS.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
real bad too. Um, so that's why it's important to learn about the PCOS in the metaverse. It's like spread awareness. Either some women like to talk about, someone don't like to talk about it. But I do have some sisters on here that talks about PCOS in the metaverse. So I'm glad her name is Sue to the Q. Shouts to Sue
Mhm.
to the Q, but she's at work right now, so she's not able to come on. So yeah, but yes, and yes.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure that our viewers actually see the connection here, how we came to be on this platform. And just so you also can have an understanding for anyone who's not familiar with the Meta Horizon worlds, we are on our virtual headsets, our
Okay.
VRs. The Oculus headsets in our own individual homes, not all in the same state either. So that's what makes this thing really beautiful. The fact that we can come together, coming from all over, to have this conversation. It's a really important discussion because so many people are unaware of polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS. I went through that just good. I'm proud of myself, you guys. That was an
Good
accomplishment.
job. Good job. Woohoo.
I am definitely proud of myself. I was the tongue tied first.
Yeah, right.
So
That's why I'm so blessed to know Megan because she really led me on to have like the VR world of PCOS. So that's a thank you, Megan, for this
No, thank
as
you. This
well.
is just
Yes.
amazing. I
Yeah,
was
yes.
telling you, before that
Mm.
this is my first time really. I've had these VR sets for like for a while since they first came out, and I've never really done anything with them. So, Mrs. Trouble, Mr. Trouble, Eve, and Kimmy, you guys have brought me in, and this has been great. Just learning about like how do I do this? Where do I go? What's happening? So I really appreciate you creating this world because it's beautiful, and I can't wait to see like what we can do in here.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, yes, me
Yes.
too. It's so many things to do in the Meta Horizon worlds. I mean, I can't even begin to explain. For anyone who doesn't have an Oculus right now, don't just assume it's a video game for kids because I tell you, it's something for everyone. My
Hmm.
entire family plays. I mean, no matter what age, somebody it's something for everyone. If you like card games, if you like bingo, if you like to go to church, if you like to go to a
Ooh.
club, if you like I mean it's
At the
something for
club.
everyone. I mean it's endless. I mean the last time Miss Megan and I were playing Uno, I mean
Right.
it was just fun. I mean and you can connect with people all over the world. You're not limited to someone who's sitting in your home with you playing a video game or someone that's even in your own state. It can be somewhere
Right.
all over the world. So many endless possibilities. But when it comes to PCOS awareness, I wanted to make sure we use this platform to showcase this because first of all, you two are amazing women out here that need to be celebrated. That the fact that you're taking the time out of your life to spread this awareness. You went through individual things, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, I want to ask. I'll start with you, Miss Foxdale. What I guess I would say I know you went through your personal journey. What was that push for you to say I have to do more to help others like myself?
Oh goodness, that's a good one. Well, I mean, it's like I think the studies is up to 10 million women that has it, 5 to 10 million women that has PCOS now. So it's good to spread that awareness to not through the in world or I mean, in real life. It's good to spread on PC. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, my tongue.
Tongue tie.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
So spread from IRL to VR, and that's really important to me because there's a lot of women out there that may have it, may not know they have it, but it's good to spread that awareness that they may do have it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's so important that I have the lessons on PCOS in VR because it's a future. It's part of our future now.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can actually use this platform to educate women that's not even in your own area. I
Mhm.
Mhm.
mean, Miss Megan can probably attest to, trying to create a space that
Mhm.
everyone can come to, renting a hall or a place that's big
Mhm.
enough to have everyone to come to, have all the amenities, food and drink, and whatever other
Mhm.
things you
Mhm.
guys want to distribute to people. It's a big thing to sit there and try to organize. Where at
It is.
home, you can actually meet people right in your own room, like in your bedroom or your wherever you are in your home. You can sit in the comfort of your home and actually still have a connection with others across the world. That's big, and pass that message along. So
Right.
I really love that you're taking your time
So,
to do that, because it's still a lot of planning involved. You still have to
Mhm.
coordinate things and get other people on board, like we have Trouble here, Mr. Trouble here, being our camera person. You guys can't see him, but he is our camera person, and he's behind the scenes making sure that everything that you guys hear and see is beautiful. If
Right.
you guys are putting questions and comments out there, he's going to do his best to pass those messages along to me.
so,
So it may be a
so
little
that's what.
delayed.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry. I
ahead.
might have some more things. So that's why I'm
Sure.
glad Megan came to Houston last year when we had the PCOS conference because I spread the awareness about just Polly C's. I talk about her a lot on here too.
Mhm.
So yeah, so she's excited about her name into the metaverse too. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you said, hosting events in person is a lot of planning, but not just planning, but a lot of funds.
Hmm.
A
Yes.
lot of funds are spent on hosting things in person. So this is great that everybody just needs to grab their VR set and log in, and here we are.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's beautiful. I mean, it's a little time consuming, especially if you are going to not go live but edit the videos too.
Mm,
That's a whole nother ball game.
okay.
Um, but there is still a lot of planning ahead of time, but at least the money part, that you definitely can save on that
Hmm.
for sure. I want to point out, I'm just seeing this right now. I don't know if this has always been like this. Maybe Foxdale, maybe you could actually tell me this, but was it always a thing that the hair was moving? Because I see Miss Megan's hair moving. Like when
Oh
she
yes,
moves,
it's
her
flex.
hair is
Every
Yes,
moving.
time I
yes,
move around,
flexible. Yes, flexible now. Yeah. Hmm.
this
Oh my
chair
gosh.
keeps
So
putting
that
me
that
like,
came like with the update when we had the new avatar. They wasn't like that before with our avatars that were
Oh,
oh
with the
well,
avatar.
okay,
nice.
okay.
I
That's a
got,
new thing.
I got my hairs are flowing.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
right. It
flowing,
looks
honey. It's
realistic
flowing.
now. I was like, yay, realistic
Yes, we even have
hair.
fingernails.
I know, right? But no fingernail polish. Good. What kind of
Yeah,
stuff is?
I know, right? I know. We all natural
My
right now.
fingernails need to be
Yeah, right.
painted then.
Oh, right.
I'm like, that might
Metaverse, do
feel
you guys hear that? We need polish for our nails.
right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So hopefully they're working on that for the next update.
Yeah, right.
So Miss Megan, I
Mhm.
know I want to get to your story as to your experience, but before we go there, I do want to just kind of fast forward just a second to say what made you decide to be the spokesperson or spokeswoman for PCOS awareness. What was
Oh
that just
Lord.
for you to just push you?
It was a series of events, actually. So I actually started showing my symptoms of PCOS when I was about 9 years old. And from 9 to 16, nobody could tell, I was young. So my mom was my largest advocate. Nobody could tell my mom what was wrong with me. She took me from medical professional to medical professional to yet another medical professional to yet another medical professional. She was told things like, my symptoms were um it was normal for a adolescent going into teenage years to be going through it. She was told I just need to lose weight and I would be fine. She was even told that it was in my head and that I was just trying, I was making things up
Oh,
just
that's
to
horrible.
get out of
Mm.
school because my my pain. It was my anxiety, my depression, and my pain. So my cysts actually end up, we found this out later, but my cysts actually rupture. The ones that are on my ovaries, they rupture. So every once in a while I would just have like immense pain, and we
Mm.
couldn't figure out where the pain was coming from. Because again, they'll do an ultrasound on you and they're like, oh, there's nothing there because yeah, because they ruptured.
Oh
And then
wow.
next thing you know, you come back and you do another ultrasound and it's like, oh, where'd that, they call them the string of pearls, and that's where the name PCOS came from. But yeah, next thing you know, the cysts are there and they're like, oh, well, where'd those come from? So
Mm.
ultimately, it was age 16 that we finally were referred to an OBGYN. And she was like, wait, nobody's ever told you about PCOS? Is like, no, what is that? And just so happens, though, at the same time, I was also, in all the tests and everything that she was doing, she also found that I had cervical cancer. So it was really not
Ah.
about the PCOS at the time. It was more or less about taking care of the cervical cancer. So at that time, she was like, "Just come back to me when you're ready to have children, and we'll talk. We'll have more of
What?
a in depth
Mm.
conversation." And of course, at the time of 16, I was like, "Ew, boys, no, what, like I don't,
Uh-uh.
no thanks." So I really didn't think anything of it until I was about, I'd have been about 23, because that was when insurance, I was like 23, 24 when insurance cut off from my family, and I wasn't working a job that offered insurance. And at that time, I was I had cyst rupture and I was admitted into the ER, and it was at that point I was like, what is this and why is this happening to me? And why can't I find any information on this? And yeah, my mom said when I was when she was walking me out of the ER, she knew that at that moment I was, she said, "Yeah, what are you about to do?" She could
Wow.
tell in my eyes that I was pissed and that I wasn't going to take it anymore, and I had to figure out what the heck this was. So I had gone out and was like looking all over the internet, and trying to find information about like PCOS. And there was like a couple of message boards. Okay, I'm really gonna date myself at this time, but there was a couple of message boards out there, and I remember going out on Craigslist. And
Oh,
there's
Oh
there's
yeah.
wow.
a message board on Craigslist, and I was like, I typed in the search PCOS, and it just so happens that there was like two people in, I lived in Seattle at the time, and there was two people, other women in Seattle, that had similar questions to me, as me, from about PCOS. And so I was like, what is this? I need to figure out what this is, and why is it that nobody has the answers? And so I'm very close with my family, like super close with my family. And my dad actually has 9 brothers and sisters. So all my aunts were
Oh,
like
wow.
questioning me about like what had happened and why was I in the ER. And when I would tell them PCOS, and they were like, what is that?
Right.
I
Right.
actually ended up making these handmade bracelets, and I told them about PCOS. And at that time, I had found out that the official color of PCOS, as you look around this lovely room, the official color of PCOS is teal. So I had
Yay!
I had started making these handmade bracelets, and sorry, my phone keeps going off. I had made these handmade bracelets in teal, and I was handing them out to my family, and would tell them about PCOS, and I would say, "Okay, now you know. So, and now wear this bracelet, and if anybody asks you what this bracelet's for, now you can tell them what PCOS is, and you can enlighten other people on what it is as well." And they were like, "Okay." And I, again, I'm going to date myself because I had a cousin. This was like at the very beginning of Instagram, when Instagram first came out on the scene. I had a cousin that was she was on Instagram, and she had asked me for like a bunch of the bracelets. And so I sent her, she lived in Boston at the time, so I sent her a whole bunch of the bracelets, and she went out on her Instagram and did the Wonder Woman pose with, her arms full of the bracelets, and she was just like, this is in honor of PCOS, right? And she hashtagged PCOS, and she tagged me in the photo. Next thing I knew, I had people from all over the world contacting me, asking me, "Hey, you know what PCOS is? And where can I get a bracelet? I want a bracelet too. I want to be a part of this." I ended up, if I'm gonna be honest, I probably spent more money in, shipping and handling than I've ever
Yeah.
spent on anything else. But I ended up selling the bracelets for like $1 each and sending them
Oh, wow.
all over the world. We're talking, I had people in New Zealand, I had people
Oh,
in India, I had people in Australia, I had people in the UK. I was just getting left and right. People were contacting me and I was shipping them out. And at that point, that's when I was like, "S- like this, what's happening here?" I
Mhm.
was like questioning myself, what is going on? Wait a minute. If I am not the only one and all these other people are inquiring, then now is the time to start something that will be
Yeah.
bigger than myself and allow people to. At first, it just started off being support because
Yeah.
nobody was talking to each other. Just as Kimmy was saying, like people are very shy about PCOS because I would say from social media and or media in general, the perception of a woman with PCOS is not the what people think that a woman should be. Um,
Mm.
there's stories out there that say like, who is the first documented woman with PCOS? And the answer to that question is the bearded woman in the circus.
oh, wow.
So when
Okay,
you think
okay.
about that, who wants to equate themselves with that? Like, not
Mhm.
me. I
Yeah.
don't want to be equated with, somebody that's being gawked at because she's different.
Right.
So that yeah, that's just not the way women want to be perceived. So there was just that's how PCOS AA started, was just being a support. And then it turned into the resources that I personally needed. Like, again, where do I go to remove said hair off of my face? Like, so I need to now partner with all of these people that have the answers to that. And
Mhm.
then it turned into also like, how do you not have to take metformin? Like, what are the other options
Right.
that I could do? So then it turned into partnering with those folks. And then the big one that I had that actually really scared me in general was mental health. So at the time, I was running all of PCOSAA's social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I was running all the back ends of it. So, and I was running myself ragged because I was responding to every single message that would
Oh,
come
I
in.
bet.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
wow.
bet.
plus my day job, plus at the time I was also in school. It
Mhm.
was nuts. Um, I just remember this one message that came in to the Facebook DMs, and she was just like, she was super depressed, and she was talking about not wanting to be in this world anymore and wanting to just get rid of all of her hurt and pain. It had to have been about 2 a.m. my time. I'm laying in bed, I'm messaging back, and I'm just like, how can I help you? And da 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 da. Next thing I know, after like an hour of talking with her, she just went silent. And that scared the crap out of me. I ended up like doing, becoming a Facebook investigator. And I was like, went to her profile, found out the city she lived in, called 211 in her city, and was like, Look, I need to do a health and welfare check on somebody. I don't know where she
Mm.
lives exactly, but I know she's in your city. How can we do this?" And I told them the whole situation, and they got in contact with 911, and they were able to find her. And I think of course, they weren't able to tell me the whole outcome, but that just really
Right.
scared me. And I'm not qualified to handle any of that.
Right.
My personal health is definitely affected by stuff like that. So
Yep, same.
we ended up partnering with a crisis text line. So now
Nice.
if you text, PCOS to 741-741, you get immediate assistance. If you feel
Repeat
like
that
you
again.
yeah, absolutely.
Repeat that
So if
again.
you text PCOS to 741-741, you will get immediate PCOS assistance when it comes to your mental health. They can't help with like, diagnosing you or anything outside of just your mental well-being. That is what they're there for. So please, yeah, and if anybody feels like they have that mental capacity to take on and be a beacon in that matter and be on the other side of those text messages, crisis text line is always looking for support and people that can help in that matter as well. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Please help.
That's another thing too,
Yeah.
because September was also Suicide Awareness Month
Mm.
too. So yeah,
Oh,
that's a
Mhm.
good. Mm-hmm.
right,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So when it comes to our audience that are is now listening, there are people who are sending in messages. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take some time to read over that a bit here. I know I had from Miss B. What if I'm sorry? What if I have PCOS and never get help? What can
Mm.
happen, if anything?
Yeah. I don't want to be Debbie Downer and I don't want to be scary or anything, but um there are studies out there that do show. So, as I said, my story, I had cervical cancer. There are studies out there that do say that PCOS can lead to breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, fatty liver disease, Hashimoto's, and other things as well. So
Hashimoto's. What's a
yeah.
Hashimoto?
So Hashimoto's,
Hashtag.
right, right. I don't know why my
What's a
arm keeps
hashtag?
like
Yeah, same.
going out in the middle of nowhere. That's not me, I promise. um, Hashimoto's, actually, what I've heard is that PCOS and Hashimoto's, some of the symptoms overlap. And so
Mm,
sometimes when people go to the doctors, they're incorrectly diagnosed with PCOS when it's actually Hashimoto's and vice versa. So I would
okay.
just make sure that that you are asking questions of your medical provider.
Mm-hmm.
One of the largest things is I tell everybody, because my mom, my mom has always stated that there is a reason why they call it practicing medicine, because they're doing just that. They are
Yes.
practicing medicine. They don't have all the answers. You can't expect them to have all the answers. But with that also being said, medical professionals are just like you walking into a restaurant and being serviced by somebody, by a server or by a host. If you are unsatisfied with what's happening in that restaurant, you have every right to be like, I'm not going to pay this bill, and or I'm walking out or whatever, right? Same
Mm-hmm.
thing with medical professionals. You have every right to say, excuse me, this isn't working. We need to break up and I need to go find a new medical professional. So
Please
I
do.
strongly encourage, like, if you said, I'm sorry, Miss B, if
Yes.
Miss B, if you are finding that you aren't getting the service and that you aren't getting the services that you need, you have more than every right to get up and find another.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So I had another statement here. Mr. Michael said that his wife has PCOS
Hmm.
and he loves her with exclamation point. Okay.
I
Her
love
sex
it.
drive is very high. So he's getting some good benefits from PCOS. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. Michael, what we would call you is we would call you a man of teal. And we thank you for being a man of teal, because it is hard. It is hard as the woman going through PCOS, and we can only imagine how hard it is as a man, that's in our lives, having to deal with the mood swings, the uncertainty of yourselves, the all the different things that we go through. We can only imagine what that looks like, and so we definitely appreciate you for being a man of teal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Definitely, Michael, for sure. I mean, it definitely is a big job. I mean,
Mhm.
I can only imagine. I know I'm a lot. I can say that right now. I know that. I guess that's why I'm in this trouble. Okay. I
I
can
was
be a
gonna
lot.
say, Mr.
Okay. I will
Trouble, can
admit.
you confirm said things?
So when it comes to that, I can only imagine, and especially if someone has like more women that they're around, like Mr. Trouble
Mhm.
has to deal with not only me being a woman in his house, he has daughters.
Right.
So, so yeah, and mom and sister and things of that nature. So I can only imagine how much stress it is to be a man of teal and how much power that takes. So I really appreciate any male support for on these
Right.
forts here because we need it. We definitely need it. A lot of times, guys, you're not given enough praises
Mm.
for the things
Mhm.
that you do, but it matters. Trust me. Don't give up. Don't give up on your loved ones. They need it. They love you and they want you there. Trust me,
Yeah.
you're not better off leaving them alone. No,
Yeah,
they
no,
need
no,
you
no,
there.
no. Yeah.
um, so Miss Unique, I do want to talk
Mhm.
about what was your journey with PCOS? What kind of symptoms and things did you experience going through this journey?
Well, I mentioned earlier I officially diagnosed with PCOS in 2011, but I know I had like before that. So I would say back in 1999 when I was going on 11 years old, 10, 11 years old at the time. So first off, I had like cyst in my thigh vaginal area and stuff. And I wasn't sexually active or anything. So come to find out, I went to my OBGYN at the time, or pediatrician. And she did, lanced it out. Oh, it was so painful, I ain't gonna lie. When you had to, had to take the little what's called hydradenitis suppurativa, aka acne inversa.
Mm.
That's why
Mm.
it all started at first. So they lanced it under, under there, and come to find, I kept on having it, having it, having it, having it, having it, all over again, in the same areas that I had under my armpits, under my breast, and sometimes my butt, I'm sorry, in my posterior area.
It's all right.
So I take antibiotics with, but I almost passed from it. What was it, like 2006, 2007? It was like under my breast. It was so bad. So like last to one under my breast, and couldn't have found that it was like the cyst was like size of a peach seed basically.
Mm.
So, and
Mm.
oh my gosh, it was such a relief. I could rest. That's how bad. Oh my gosh. I said, I don't want to see that, but I end up seeing that. I said, oh, it was disgusting. So anyway, I mean, I still have the acne inverse like really bad now, but it's not as bad because once I eat pork, I noticed when I ate pork, that's when it was getting like really bad. So I don't do pork as much no more, or don't do
Mm.
pork period for like the past 5, 6 years now. So
Mm.
that's why I was like when I ask, we know when because I eat beef still, but I'm trying to get away from beef as well. But that's the hardest. I love beef so much.
Oh.
But I think because red meat is not as good as well.
Right.
Right.
But I would say like the most healthiest meat is turkey for me. It's like one of the best meats because I eat turkey bacon, even though it's like disgusting, but it's really good though. So but I know like, since I do like a lot, I do supernatural on here now. That's really good for exercising
Mm.
now.
I
Oh, it's
love
so good.
supernatural.
Oh yes, it makes you sweat. It's
Yes.
really good. Yeah. So yeah, basically I had that's when it started. I started having acne inversa. Then I had hirsutism, facial hair
Hers.
under the chin. So
Mhm.
that's another
Mhm.
thing. Then, oh wow. Then like after I turned like in my 30, like 34, 35, I'm 36 now. I don't mind saying my age. So back when I was 34 years, I don't care. I'm an 80s baby, okay? So like when I turned 34, that's when I started noticing I had irregular cycles. I said, oh gosh, why?
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah.
so and I experienced infertility miscarriages before, so that's a hurtful thing to talk
Mm.
about
Mm.
too. But
Yeah.
yeah, so but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get into that. But it's a long story short. I experienced it, so but what else to go? But it's just interesting to talk about it and stuff because
Mhm.
it's more women out there. I experience. Because like Megan, her story may be different from mine, and that's
Mm.
what makes PCOS so interesting. Every woman has their different story. Like they have
Yeah.
mild symptoms, moderate symptoms, severe symptoms. So I think I have like moderate to severe PCOS.
Mhm.
But yeah, but everybody's different, so I can't speak for all. But yes.
Yeah.
So that's one of
So
the things as well. Sorry, Miss Trouble. That's one of the things as well. Like she was saying about people not really wanting to talk about it. But I
Mhm.
feel like if we don't, like me myself, I have to tell.
Mhm.
I have to tell all the uncomfortable symptoms and all the uncomfortable stories and all the things because if I don't, how am I to say that I'm actually helping somebody? Because if somebody
Exactly.
else is not saying what what they're going through, they might think that it's not important or it's not associated with PCOS. So I have to tell all the things. So I really
Mhm.
appreciate you, Kimmy, for sharing, the uncomfortable things because there could be, like you said, we all have different stories, but there could be somebody out there that's listening that was like,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't know that was a symptom and I'm suffering from that too. So now I should
Right.
probably go get help for that. So thank
Yeah,
you.
because it's a lot of women that have miscarriage after
Yeah.
miscarriage, and I said that could be, one of the reasons why you may have PCOS, but
Right.
mm,
Right.
Mhm. So what are some other key, just throwing out there different things as in symptoms? What are some of the most common symptoms that you guys see on a regular
Yeah.
basis or hear of?
So most women don't get diagnosed with PCOS until they're trying to have a baby, and then they're told that they're struggling. So then they go into the doctors and they're like, What's happening? Why
Mm,
can't I have children?" And then that's when they're told like, "Oh, we've done these tests and you have PCOS." So that is the number one symptom that people mostly equated to. Then Kimmy also stated like the irregular periods, like mine, and we have two extremes on that side. Most women with PCOS either have irregular periods, or I'm sorry, missed periods, or massively like long, heavy periods. Like
mm.
my period, my first one, I actually did take progesterone, which is a hormonal medication, just to get it started because I was 16 and I still had no period.
Oh
So
wow.
I had to take progesterone. They gave me
Many
progesterone. I
would say
took
that's
it.
a blessing.
Right. 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 I was like, and when they told me to take this pill, they didn't tell me what it was for. And
Right.
after the fact, I was like, why? Because my first period ended up being 3 months long, and it was so heavy.
Wow.
I
ooh-wee.
used a heavy pad every day. Every
Oh
day.
my
Mhm.
gosh.
So, and on top of that, I was back and forth again. I'm from Seattle and my family's from Boston. So in that 3 months, we had some family things that were happening in Boston. I was back and forth to Boston from Seattle like three different times. By the end, my grandmother took a look at me and she was like, "Why are you so pale? What's wrong?"
Mm.
Because I had no like all the
No
blood was rushing
blood.
out of me. And
Oh.
they say, they say what is it called? Being up in the airplane, the
Mhm.
altitude causes it to be worse.
Oh
So
wow.
so I was in misery. So yes, we have like two different spectrums when it comes to
Mhm.
PCOS. And then on top of that, another two different spectrums. We have it's been said that PCOS can cause weight gain. But then we also, on the other end of that spectrum, we have a lot of women with PCOS that we call thin sisters. And I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. Did we cover the word sister? I don't think we did. Is it around here
No.
anywhere? Okay. So the word
What
sister. So
sisters
we're
unite?
right. We're
Oh.
talking we're talking CYSTER. So sister, as in polycystic ovarian syndrome. So we call
Mhm.
each other sisters.
Okay,
But
okay.
in that sense, we have what we call thin sisters. And so those are women that probably can eat all the things and smell all the things and never gain a pound. Whereas
Oh wow.
Mm.
I can eat all the things, smell things from a mile away, and next thing you know, my butt is bigger.
Yeah,
So,
like a balloon. I'm saying.
right, my thighs get
Yes,
bigger, and
ma'am.
I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like all I did was smell the bread from next door.
That's
So,
not it.
so yes, we have different spectrums, of course, of women with PCOS, and then we have, kind of the standard, not standard, but we have kind of the smaller symptoms that are like the acne. Sometimes women get cystic acne, so that can be extreme
Mhm.
on their face. That, as Kimmy was saying, the hirsutism, so that is hair growth on the face. So
Mm.
I think of it as one of the things that PCOS also causes is that your levels of testosterone are higher than somebody without PCOS. So
Okay, okay.
we're getting a beard because we have higher testosterone, but then on top of that, now we're also getting male pattern baldness.
Oh no.
So we have the beard on the face, but hair loss on the head. So it's a double whammy.
Oh my
um,
gosh.
Anxiety, depression are
Mhm.
huge, and again, I think that
Mhm.
that's a vicious cycle. I think PCOS, it's a symptom of PCOS, but then it's also like it's it's a cause as well, because
Mhm.
we've got, you start feeling down about yourself, and the next thing you know, you pull up Instagram and you see an Instagram model, and it's like, that's not what I look like. So so now I'm depressed and I have anxiety over going out into the public because I've got this beard, and it's just a vicious cycle in that sense.
Yeah.
What else here? We've got I feel like there's a big one that I'm missing, but in my mind, as Kimmy said, brain fog is another symptom of
Mhm.
PCOS. Tooth decay. Um there's just a whole bunch. There's a
It's a whole
bunch,
bunch.
and
Yeah.
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 And
It's
and
okay if
mind
we
you,
miss some. Yeah.
right, and mind you, it's not that you have all of them and all of the symptoms, and that's when you're diagnosed with PCOS. You can have one or two of the symptoms and still be diagnosed with PCOS. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
very varying between people.
Yeah. That
So
makes a lot of sense.
that's another thing too about hero-tism, because sometimes I have, like, a few chin hairs. So, oh my gosh, is that a man? That's
Right.
really
Oh,
upsetting to hear, because it
yeah.
really hurts, So,
Right.
and
Mhm.
plus my voice, I think I had like more masculine voice than a feminine voice too. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's another hurt. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a man. I said, no, the last time I checked, my birth certificate says I'm a female.
It's
Yeah.
crazy you actually say that, because when I was little, there was a what was that TV show? ER. There was an
Mhm.
ER episode that dealt with the everybody thought it was a girl.
Mhm.
Or no. Yeah, everybody thought it was a girl. The girl thought she was a girl. Her parents thought she was a girl, but it just so happens that she was born with testicles that were inside. And so when they
Oh.
like opened her up, she had ovaries and testicles. So she had both organs. So
Oh.
I literally thought that was me when I was
Oh yeah,
growing up.
Mm.
I was
same,
like,
same.
something is wrong with me. And I think that's what's wrong. I
Yeah.
That's
remember going to
definitely
my mom
same.
saying, I think this is what's wrong with me. And she was
Mhm.
like, no. I think that's part of that. I believe that that's part of the also anxiety and depression is when there's a statistic out there that says, on average, a woman will go 8 years without being formally diagnosed. They'll
Sheesh,
go
that's a long
through,
time.
right, they'll go
Mhm.
from medical professional to medical professional, not get the right answers or not get any answers. And in that time, it takes them a span of 8 years to be formally diagnosed. Can you imagine going 8 years without knowing what's wrong with you, and but
That's
knowing and
torture.
feeling, right,
Yeah.
knowing and feeling that there's something wrong with you? Trust me, when I got
Mhm.
the final diagnosis, it was like weight off of my shoulders. Like,
Mhm.
okay, we know what this is. It
Right.
didn't matter what it was, like, it just the not knowing part causes some anxiety and some angst. So, yeah, I just it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Well, I do have another comment that came
Yeah.
in. Someone asked if there is a take it home test.
Mm. So, for PCOS, not necessarily. There are a couple of companies out there that offer a test that you can take, but you still need to take it to your medical professional because, again, symptoms vary so differently from woman to woman.
Mhm.
And we are talking, I believe it's I can't even remember what kind of test it is. If it was a urine, blood, or saliva test. I can't even remember. But yes, there's like two companies out there that do offer some tests that you can take from home, but you still need to take it into the office to have a formal diagnosis.
And I
Um
believe your organization is helping with some of this research on the scientific side as well, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. So we
that's
partner
amazing.
with Cornell University. It's called Lujan Labs of Cornell University. Dr. Marla Lujan is the medical um, head of that department and that lab. And when I was like really researching, trying to figure out like what PCOS is, there was no real answer Nobody really knows what it is, where it's coming from, why it happens, how to get rid of it, all the important questions. Everything that I saw out there, all the research that I saw that was being done, all had to do with PCOS and getting pregnant or PCOS and losing weight. Nothing was
Mm.
like getting to the bottom of it, which was just nuts to me because how are we going to figure out those answers without knowing what it is? And
I
so
have to
when
agree
I,
with you about that. I'm
right,
actually, I'm actually mind boggled by the same predicament in the gun community.
mm,
When you think about the fact that we have this such of a mass shooting, hysteria or, gun violence hysteria here in the United States,
right,
my thought process as a firearm instructor is what can we do to mitigate this? And
right,
my biggest thing is educating people on firearm safety awareness. And yet you have the school systems saying, oh, no, we can't talk about guns here.
mm,
But yet we have kids that are going into schools trying
mm-hmm,
to, shoot up the place
do all the
or,
bad stuff.
yeah. And we have kids at home maybe playing with guns and not
Mm,
intentionally meaning to hurt themselves or another person, but they do it by accident. These are things that we can do to stop those situations from happening, but yet we're not. And
right,
so that's
because it's
where I'm
scary.
just kind of I'm baffled. I'm baffled.
Right.
The fact that there's not any answers for PCOS as to where it's coming from, how is it developed, or what causes it. And like-minded with firearms, I'm like, we kind of know some of the issues, but we're doing nothing about it.
Right.
Not enough, at least, not
Right.
enough to
And
do
you
about
and
it.
right, because those that are trying to do something about it are getting pushback from others. So yeah,
Yes.
it's hard. It's hard.
'Cause
Um,
a lot of people think it's food that we eat that may be
yeah,
causing the PCOS. So I think it could be it, but we don't know.
right. I've heard
Are there
few.
some
I've heard.
natural remedies that you guys practice to kind of help you with your symptoms at least?
Yeah,
Um,
herbs is good. Like a lot of herbs is good. Like spearmint, what's that? Elderberry is good, and zinc. I'll
cinnamon.
say, yeah, cinnamon is good, and ginger too, I believe, and
Okay.
turmeric.
Yeah, there are ways that
Mm-hmm.
you can, but again, remember, it's incurable, one, and two, all things that you do to help your PCOS, it's going to be individual symptoms. You
Mhm.
can't treat it as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's called myo-inositol, which
Mhm.
is cinnamon is included in that. That's a lot. They say that's a lot for infertility, right?
Mhm.
Again, metformin's for the diabetic side. Progesterone is to help your period. Um, there's just a lot. There's a lot of different things that you can do for individual symptoms. One of the things that I did a couple of years ago, well, not a couple, it's been more than a couple now, is that I really wanted to take control of my PCOS. It was on a rampage. I had gained like I think at the time I was weighing like 260, which was the heaviest I'd ever been. And I think that I was well, I don't know. I don't think I know that I was super depressed. And my skin was horrible. My hirsutism was bad. Just everything just seemed like it was just going downhill, right? So
Mhm.
one of the things I did was one, got a therapist. I needed to get my mindset right. And that's really all a therapist is there for is to help guide you through a better mindset and to help guide you through your thought process on how to handle things in life.
Yeah.
So I had a therapist and then I also wanted to try something natural and something that I'd never done before, which was acupuncture. I did
Mm.
acupuncture. And if anybody is not afraid of needles, I highly suggest you go to a woman's health acupuncturist. Don't just go to any old acupuncturist. Make sure it's a women's health acupuncturist because they will help, they'll treat each symptom with acupuncture. And I ended up losing like 60 pounds, and my outtake on life in general was amazing. And so I'm not going to equate the weight loss to acupuncture, but the added acupuncture with therapy put my life back in a manageable way. Acupuncture did help with fatigue, and as you know, sorry, fatigue is a symptom of PCOS as well.
Mhm.
As you know, like you get fatigued, you're not going to want to do workout. You're not going to want to it's even hard to eat right when you're fatigued, right? You're like, "I'm
Yeah.
just gonna grab
Mhm.
whatever's quickest so I can go off and go to sleep."
Mhm.
So it helped with fatigue, which then turned around and helped me think about my food intake, and it gave me the energy to get back in the gym. So with that, that's how I lost the 60 pounds, and then just my mindset was better. I think I wanna say that around that time is when I really buckled down and started doing a lot with PCOS AA and got it to where it is like to pretty much today.
Mhm.
So my outtake on life was just so much better after that.
That's a blessing. I would like to ask our audience out there, is anyone out there doing therapy or having therapy
Mm,
sessions regularly? I'm just really curious because I would imagine that I haven't tried going to therapy myself for things. I
mhm,
will admit I just have not. No particular reason. Just I just haven't. But I know people who do go through therapy and they have all said that it's worked for them. I've only had
mhm,
maybe a handful of people I know to go through therapy and said, oh, it didn't work for them.
right.
So I beg to differ that maybe they just didn't have the right therapist for them.
Yep.
So just
I
like
was
you
just gonna say
mentioned,
that.
yeah, maybe just like you mentioned earlier, just having to choose a different
Mhm.
person to help you with this. I do want to ask that question to the audience. Is people out there going to therapists and is it working for you? So that's my question to our audience. And while they put those answers in, I would like to ask Miss Unique, is there certain regimens, certain things that you do to help yourself and your symptoms that you go through for PCOS?
Well, besides exercising, that's basically it. I don't really talk to nobody besides the higher make of God, but or my my family too sometimes. But I really I come on VR a lot and just socialize and play games and stuff. But other than that, that's basically that's all I do. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
Okay,
I mean,
That
okay.
that
sometimes I be antisocial at times. It could be like those days I don't feel like talking about it, leave me
mm,
alone and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And sometimes I'm a social butterfly, but yes.
Yeah, I
I
can't imagine you not being a social butterfly. I'm not,
Oh, I am
anything else
antisocial
other
at
than
times. I do.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not at all. We
Yeah.
all have our days, definitely.
Right.
So someone in the comments did say everyone needs therapy in 2024.
Mm,
Prayers for
Mm.
people in Florida. So
yeah,
yes,
Oh yes.
definitely
Oh
prayers for
yes.
people in Florida. They're definitely going through a lot right now. I
Oh
was
absolutely.
yes.
looking at
Lord
the weather
mercy.
report today, and I was like, wow, okay. So this is going down again for them.
Oh yeah.
They've
2
been
weeks.
going through so much. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely, I feel therapy is definitely really good. I definitely want to take up acupuncture. Maybe that would help with some things that I'm going through as well. So it does seem like, as you guys mentioned, there's various symptoms. But I'm thinking about the mental health scope of things and how all these symptoms can tie together, and they do tie together with your mental health. If you're
Mhm.
not having an outward body appearance that you feel like you should have or that you want to have, like you're having unwanted hair, if you're overweight, if certain things that you do, you're having like you're just not having the results that you like in your life. I can see how that would cause depression and, it not making you feel confident about yourself. So it sounds like if you're going through these symptoms that you would want to deal with these things and try to help yourself overcome them, and that sounds like the outcome of both of you guys being more happy, being in a happier place once you've actually take control of your health and
Mhm.
say, hey, look, I have this situation going on. I'm not really sure what's causing it, but at least I'm going to do is try to deal with this symptom here. And once you were dealing with this symptom, fixing the symptom to make yourself feel better physically, it sounds like mentally and emotionally you guys were a little bit better. Can you attest to that?
I would say absolutely. Yeah, I would say absolutely. And don't try and like take it all the symptoms on at once, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
You
don't do
can. That's
that. Just
impossible. Yeah.
right, just kind of
Mm.
take it one step at a time and don't get mad at yourself if something's not happening fast enough, or if you're trying to compare, like don't compare yourself to others, right? Do
Yeah,
not do
please
that.
don't. Please don't.
Right, because you're just gonna get upset. So
Hmm.
take your own time, take care of you, Um, but yeah, take your time.
Yeah. I mean, and definitely comparing yourself to others is something that I think that all women or all girls
Mm,
tend to do at some point
right.
in time in our lives. And I guess guys too. Guys do it too as well, just in a different way. And one of the things I can think about reflecting back to my childhood, one of the things that really bothered me is how skinny I was.
Mm.
Extremely skinny. And here was all my other friends was all getting hips and butt and breasts, and none of these things ever came from me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, when is it my turn? When am I gonna have it?" I'm looking at my mom and I'm like, "Well, she has it now, but when I was younger, she didn't." So, and now it has happened in reverse. Now I have the weight on me, and now people that I grew up with, they've lost weight.
Mhm.
So it's like it's so funny how that reverse thing can happen over time, you know?
Right.
So definitely comparing yourself to others, I would say in any way probably is not going to be the most healthy thought process for you to go
Right.
down.
And
um
and I
hmm,
must to say that everybody, ladies, if you have PCOS, please do not blame yourself for having PCOS.
No.
It's not your fault at all.
Right.
it's not so
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nothing you did to really cause that. So, without in closing, and we are wrapping this up, Miss Unique, because this is your platform, your world. I do want you to go first and tell us how it is that people can support the things that you're doing in the community, and how can they get in contact with you.
Okay, well, well, I got a whole bunch of 'em. Well, besides VR, my name's Unique Don Foxdale. You can contact me on Facebook as Kimmy K or H Town. Well, Unique Foxdale 88 at on Instagram, IG.
Say
And
that one more time again. Say that again one more
I'm
time.
sorry. It's Unique Foxdale 88 at on IG, Instagram, or you can
Okay.
look for me on Unique Foxdale VR. So and
Okay.
ooey. Okay, would that be good?
Okay.
I have to
And
talk
then
to
how
Megan
can they
afterwards.
and how
Okay.
can they support your cause? I know that you're having podcasts. How often and when is your podcast happening on the VR?
So I had like every Thursdays in September, but now I'm teaming up with Metaverse, and he want to do it every week at Comco Theater. So I need to get
Okay.
with Megan and with Sue to the Q, and I know Megan would love to meet with Sue to the Q and E class ladies. They're both really good influencer because they
Okay.
they both have PCOS, and oh my gosh, I love E class lady stories. Her story brings you to tears. That's how good her stories are,
Oh.
and she has PCOS. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully I get with them and let them know what's going on.
Okay.
So,
So
hmm
they can definitely reach out to you on the VR, but they also can reach out to you on Instagram
yes,
to
correct.
be able to be a part of the events you're going to do in Comco. Comco is another location you guys can go for
hmm
various shows and things. Uh, Mr. Trouble is actually a part of that as well,
Mm.
where they
So
have different comedy shows and things of that nature. So a lot of entertainment
so
going on
so
there.
thanks to all the men of teal out there, men of voice. You're one of them. Thank you for so much for supporting the
Yeah.
cause of PCOS. Love you so much, my brother.
Yes.
And thank you, Trouble, for making this world. And you also too the man of teal because your sister has it
Yes.
too. So thank you for that, my brother. Yes,
Yes.
indeed. Yeah.
And so, Miss Megan, how can our audience reach you and what things can they do to help support your cause?
Whew. Okay, so you can you can reach PCOS Awareness Association online. Our website is www.pcosaa.org. You can also find us on Instagram at PCOSAA. I'm sorry, PCOSAA, and then Facebook PCOS Awareness Association. Let's see. How one of the big things that we could definitely use help with, especially if you are here in the metaverse, like we want to spread the word. We want to spread the word about Kimmy's little her big universe here that she has with the help of Mr. Trouble
Trouble.
has created. So we want to get more people to come in here and have the podcasts and listen
Mm-hmm.
to and talk to with other women with PCOS and men of teal. So we want everybody to just spread the word. For PCOS Awareness Association, we always could use volunteers. So there's actually a page on our website that you can volunteer. We are also always looking for ambassadors, what we call ambassadors. And those are people in different locations across the world that want to rally their city or their location and be a playing role in like local health fairs, local women's clubs, and just spread the word about PCOS is what we really need. And as always, we are a nonprofit, so we're always looking for donations to help us further our mission and the things that
Mm-hmm.
we do. We are a grassroots nonprofit, so what you see is me and my team behind the scenes, we do not get paid for anything. Any donations that come into PCOSAA go right back into the PCOSAA community and the PCOS community to help further our mission and help those with PCOS. Me myself, I think I can't even remember what my name is on here, but I believe
Miss Megan
it's
M.
thank you, Miss Megan M. I appreciate that. I'm looking up like where is it? My name on here is Miss Megan M. If you want to find me on here again, I'm not always on here, but reach out to me. Let me know that you want to follow, and we can meet up here in the metaverse on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Megan M Stewart, Stewart. You can follow me there. I'm gonna be very honest about my personal my personal Instagram is that you probably will not find PCOS stuff on there. And that is for my own sanity. I need to keep my PCOS life and my personal life kind of separate in different kind of buckets.
Mhm.
Kind of like what we were saying before about, comparing yourselves to others. What I was finding is that I was going on my personal PCOS and I was comparing myself to other people with PCOS and other organizations that are dedicated to PCOS, and I didn't like the person that I saw when I looked in the mirror. So
Mm.
my personal Instagram is very much my personal Instagram.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, trying to separate business and personal can be
That part.
very challenging. Yeah, I definitely can attest to that. I have
Okay.
a strict, time zone that I tend to stick
Mm,
to for my business hours
good
and
for
then my
you.
home hours
Good for
because of
you. I
that.
haven't
Yeah.
achieved that yet.
Yeah.
Yep,
I mean, my
same.
kids pushed it. My kids pushed it because it's like, I got to get dinner together. I got to get them ready for
Right.
school tomorrow. And then in the
Right.
morning, it's time to get them out the door to school and things. So those times are my family time. Those hours, you're not going to reach Mrs. Trouble. You're not going to reach me
Good.
at those hours.
Good for you.
So I try my best. There are occasional times past 6 p.m., to probably about 7 or 8 that I may, send a message back to someone. But most of the time, you guys aren't going to get an answer from me at those hours of the night. I'm telling you now, it's not going to be until after 9 a.m. the next morning.
Good for you. I need
Yep. So,
to devise such things, but yeah.
Yeah.
so when once I had the PCOS podcast all September, I want to thank Nick T for being the only person I donated to PCOS.org slash donate. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank
yeah, so
you.
thanks so much, Nick T. So much. Love you so
Thank
much.
you, Nick T.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So, going back to the chat box here, someone said, is your organization the only PCOS nonprofit organization?
No, there's
No.
another one, PCOS Challenge.
Okay. All right.
That's US based. Sorry, there's two of us, but then
Okay.
there are others in the UK as well.
Okay. Okay. And then someone else also wanted to know, or they made a statement. They said they don't want to sound dumb, but is PCOS man made? They're 73 and they've never heard of it before.
No, not man-made. It's definitely a thing. The actual number of women with PCOS is more than the number of women diagnosed, or I said, let me rephrase that, more than the number of people diagnosed with breast cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus combined. So PCOS is very real.
Wow. Wow. And it's
Mm.
so amazing how we do this, okay? And I'm not speaking for the rest of the world because I've never lived overseas before to anywhere else. I can only attest to my experience in the, United States. I find it quite odd that sometimes we focus and we see the loudest noise on some of the issues that may be a lot smaller than other issues. For example, we've seen this mass campaign about not polluting the ocean or not polluting with straws. And
Mm.
straws only attested for about 2% of the pollution in our ocean.
Like, what
2%. I
what
might be
about the
wrong. It might be
rest?
4%.
Right.
Yeah. And so, but that's what you see. That's what we see all the
Mhm,
time over the last probably 10 years. That's what you hear. And people are using paper straws or
mhm.
metal straws as a way to mitigate that.
Right.
But yeah, and not enough is being done about the other ways that we're polluting the oceans. And so that's
Yeah.
just
So
it just makes me think about those things.
so
The
to
fact
to
that
that
it blew my
point,
mind.
so I trust me, I have nothing. Well, I have everything against breast cancer because nobody wants to
Yes,
deal with that. But I have
correct.
nothing against those with breast cancer, those with it, or those
Yes.
suffering from it, or those affected by it. But um when I first started PCOS Awareness Association, I was reaching out to everybody under the sun,
Mm-hmm.
including celebrities. I was reaching out to celebrities who had come forth and said that they had PCOS. Um, I was reaching out to WNBA. I was reaching out to anybody and everybody that would listen. I actually heard back from a highly celebrity person. I heard back from their PR person, and literally said, they stated that PCOS was not sexy enough for their person to support because
Oh wow,
What?
that's sad.
breast
Like,
cancer is sexy.
What the heck?
what? Yeah.
Wow.
What
I
kind of
was
thing?
Wow.
so I'm not
Mind
even
blown,
gonna lie.
seriously.
Not even
Wow.
gonna lie. I ended up actually article was actually ran on a what do you call it? Um Something that I put out there.
Mm-hmm.
People were not happy with me
I mean,
after it ran, but I was pissed. I was livid at the time.
I bet.
And
Yes, I'm angry
so
for you right now.
right, I
Yeah,
started
right.
a campaign that literally showed like just an arm dangling a teal bra, and it said that hashtag more than boobs.
That was
Yeah, so if you go
powerful.
out there and you look up that hashtag, it'll
Yeah.
run you right back into PCOS Awareness Association, and
Wow.
the outcry that I received after that. The breast cancer community was not happy with me. And again,
Oh wow.
I have everything against breast cancer because
Mm-hmm.
nobody needs to. My grandmother had a double mastectomy due to breast cancer. So again, I know what people are going
Yes.
through.
Yes,
But
I
at
have
the
family
same
members too.
time,
Mm-hmm.
right, at the same time, PCOS deserves the same outcry,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and the
yes.
same support.
I agree.
So,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, I definitely agree, and I definitely second that statement for sure. um, but do you guys have any closing remarks that you would like to leave with our audience today?
Well, I just want to thank everybody that's, asking questions and they're following along. That's great. And I want to thank you, Miss Trouble, and I want to thank Mr. Trouble as well. And Kimmy as well. Like I really appreciate all of you guys for taking the time to one, build this amazing space, two, to have these types of podcasts, and three, for, your support and your dedication to women's health and women just in general. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome. No problem.
Yeah, thank you to Miss Trouble and Trouble and Miss Butterpecan. I always think about good old but bluebell ice cream every time I think about Butterpecan.
Oh, Butter Pecan. Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
If you are listening as well, thank you. I thank you too.
yes. Thank y'all
Yes.
so much,
Yes.
and thanks for all the audience that participated in the question. They were so awesome. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, y'all are amazing. Yeah, like just like I would say like back when leukemia first started, that's how how PCOS is gaining this rep because first you
Mm-hmm.
had leukemia, then there's the breast cancer, then there's the PCOS, then I'm sure there's more there's
Hmm.
out there, but it's not being broadcast yet. So
Right.
just
Yeah.
be on the lookout for anything that's that may be minor that may be in a big issue in the future. So just be be advised basically.
Right.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you
Hmm.
guys for that. I mean, the fact of you guys' testimony, um, is really powerful to know that something like this is going on, not getting as much recognition as other things are. And, it's just, I appreciate you guys coming on this platform to be able to share your stories because, again, I know that my podcast is more so centered around firearm awareness, but I'm also about women empowerment. And what better way to empower women than with the knowledge? That's my goal. Is always to equip others with the knowledge that they need to help
Mm.
themselves be safe and to be better, just be a better version of themselves. And it starts just having that knowledge. So, my closing thing I'd like to say, first of all, thank you guys again for joining me today, and thank you viewers for jumping in here because this is such an important topic here, and I would hope that you guys that are here, men that are here, you guys are men of teal now, and ladies that are on here, that you guys would also, everyone would help spread the word about this, about PCOS awareness, and be keen to those things so that people can actually get the help they need. So that it doesn't escalate to fertility, doesn't escalate to diabetes, doesn't escalate to different types of cancers and so forth. So hopefully that people can take better health, take care of their health. Um, so basically, just to sum it all up, empowerment is key, both for managing conditions like PCOS awareness and practicing good gun safety. So both you can give women both of them actually gives women the confidence to protect themselves and live a healthier and safer life. So this is why we're doing this, and I just again thank you guys so much for joining us. So if you guys don't have anything else to add, we're just going to say good night.
So
Good
hopefully Megan
night.
could join me next year when I have a PCOS podcast. That'd be a big help on my, having PCOS awareness in VR because when I had the PCOS awareness this year, I ain't gonna lie, I got lost with words so bad. People
No
start
worries.
walking.
No worries. We're
It takes
Yeah.
practice,
Yeah,
man.
it
we'll
It
get
does.
takes
it.
Yeah,
practice.
yeah. Because I was like reading notes and reading notes and reading notes. I said, I'm gonna just do it from the heart. I'm gonna just say what's on my mind, and yeah, and that's what bring people attention is like speak whatever's on your mind. Not just reading notes and being
Absolutely.
boring and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It helps me a lot to have bullet points. I was using bullet points
oh
throughout
yeah,
conversation just to kind of keep me on track of a direction. So I pretty much have like a vision of what I want the conversation to be like, and then try my best to go through that vision. But if it goes to a different direction, that's fine too. But I use those bullet points to get me back on point, you know?
mm-hmm.
So just kind of having bullet points to, just short little statements or questions you may have, glance down at your notes for a moment, then go right back into that conversation. So I think for me that has helped at least.
Oh yeah,
I'm not off the dome type of person.
and thanks to my best friend Baby Angel for staying by my side when no one else was around when I was having my PCOS podcast at one time. She know what I'm talking about, but she at
Oh,
work today,
Yeah.
so. But
Thank you,
thank you,
baby
best
angel.
friend. Love you,
yeah.
baby angel.
Well, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys again here soon. The next live that we have for Shoot the is actually going to be this Friday. I have a young lady
Mm,
named Miss Sarah who is joining us from an organization called Hold My Guns. And Hold My
mm.
Guns is an organization that helps with people who need, for various reasons, someone to actually hold their gun for a period of time, whether they're dealing with a mental
Mhm.
health crisis for themselves, or whether they're just, maybe deploying somewhere, they're military personnel deploying somewhere and they just need somewhere safe to store their guns while they're on deployment. So she is going to come and speak with me Friday live. So you guys definitely
Mm.
check us out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same spot at Trouble at Shoot the Shh. Okay. And we also have another interview coming up soon too. So definitely stay tuned for that. I would think by the end of the week as well, I should be putting out an interview with a 7-time author who has now
Mm.
turned her books into a play and to a movie. And she has so much more community work, being recognized by President Obama himself for her community work
Mm.
as well. So we have some other good things coming up after that too, but that's just the most recent things. So again, I really appreciate everyone for being here, and y'all have a good night. I ain't gonna hold y'all much longer.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Thank you.